Well, howdy, y'all. This is Market Explainer, the business news podcast. We're the largest in the universe. We're the fastest growing. Before we keep going, we have another story, and it's sponsored by our friends over at Acre Gold. Meet the new store of value. It's the same as the old store of value. Timeless, thoughtfully designed, and guaranteed to retain value in a way your cash never will. 2.5 grams of Acre Gold bars is the perfect amount of gold for the first-time gold buyer or the seasoned investor. Click the link down in the description. You can get your subscription started. They have low-cost subscriptions. Pay a little bit of money up front. Then when you accumulate enough, they actually just send you 2.5 grams.
Very nice. I love it. All right, what do we got next?
So, Ghost Kitchens, which was a story that we did at the beginning of
a while back.
They're growing. I'm seeing
Imagine
them
that
pop
we
up.
called it. That's
Yeah,
always
of course.
that's what I'm saying.
Dude,
We called it.
Our good friends over at Kroger, which in Central Texans, we don't really have Kroger here, right?
No, North Texas has them.
Yeah,
Dallas
has it.
DFW area, right? But no, Central Texas.
We're Texas. We're Central Texas is so Texas is the most American state in the union, and I refer to it as a country because it is. And also, the Central Texas area is the most middle finger. We're special part of
It really is.
Yeah, I mean Beaumont has its own thing going on, but that's Beaumont. But Central Texas is no, we're the better Texas, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's why we don't have a Kroger. We only have HEB. But so Kroger.
Go and check out if you're a fan of this show, you'd definitely be a fan of Your Mom's House podcast. If you haven't ever checked that out, go check that out. It's a comedy podcast.
Just moved to Austin.
They moved to Austin not too long ago, and on one of their most recent episodes, I mean, she fell down the stairs or something like that or whatever. But she tells a story about the first time she went to HEB here in Austin, and she's like, oh my God, this is what a grocery store is supposed to be. She all about it or whatever. People love their HEB. And the part about this Ghost Kitchen and Kroger, HEB would be the store in Central Texas if this, and HEB already has, they make fresh sushi,
you know what I mean? And
they have a restaurant inside anyway. But if they were to partner, this would be a brilliant thing. They would be the one here in Central Texas, if it was going to happen, that it would happen with. Right,
and here's the interesting part. Kitchen United is the company that owns Ghost Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And Kroger has partnered with them to build Ghost Kitchens into Kroger's. Now, we talked about Ghost Kitchens before. We talked about Kroger because Kroger has partnered with a company overseas, I think British, called Ocado, which is avocado without the A. And they have built a completely delivery-only grocery infrastructure. What I love about Kroger is they are an ancient grocery selling dry goods is a ancient business.
Yes.
This is as old as time. It's not the world's oldest business because that's Mary Magdalenism, but it's not. It's old.
And Kroger is an ancient name in the market business.
It is a heritage brand, if you'd want to call it that, right? It is when people are they're I'm going to Publix. I've never heard of Publix, but I'm not going to any store with an X in the name. That's gross. There's a rule. So what they're doing here, and what I love about Kroger, again, not as someone who's ever going to walk into a Kroger at any time soon in his life, right? I love the fact that they're trying to innovate. I love the fact that they're looking at the future and going, some millennial that's wearing a ski cap in July in Florida is going to write an app and it's going to kill our business. And we need to be ahead of the curve here. So they partner with Ocado and they go, hey, wait, you guys are just going to take a bunch of produce, season it lightly, and sell it for a 50% markup? Just do it in our backyard here. We have best space.
Well, and look, and I'll say this really quickly because obviously if you haven't seen the Ghost Kitchen episode we did for a while back, it's essentially where a company comes in, sets up a kitchen, a generic back restaurant, right? A kitchen, and then there are a couple of different ways to do it, but basically license food from local restaurants, right? Your name, fill in blank Mexican food restaurant, fill in blank generic Italian restaurant, whatever. They make it all in the same kitchen.
Right.
And then it goes out typically in delivery. And this obviously got popular in the last 18 months when people couldn't go in and eat inside and stuff like that. It gained in popularity.
That's where celebrities like YouTuber Mr. Beast came out with Mr. Beast burgers. And Guy Fieri had
Gordon Ramsay. A bunch of these big chefs have done these.
Yeah. And as a side note about Ghost Kitchen, a bunch of companies that are like they just have the infrastructure, but nobody would ever order takeout from them, have created just a white label brand where they just take their existing product, just label it something different. And one of them for Chili's is just wings. Chili's will sell you because I saw this on one of the apps. Just wings. I've never heard of that place. I want to try it. And I look up the address on Google Maps, and it's a freaking Chili's, man.
Yep.
I was like, and what's really funny is, Chuck E. Cheese did this with pizza.
Right. Okay.
Chuck E. Cheese just came up with their own pizza. It's hilarious. So, what?
But it's a brilliant idea. I guarantee you, Kroger, when they open this kitchen, I guarantee you that part of the negotiation and part of the thing, everything that goes into the kitchen is from the grocery store. They're purchasing from the grocery store itself. So Kroger gets to literally create, if I've got a Kroger in right here down the street in Cedar Park, Kroger created a whole nother line of revenue for that restaurant. And for that Kroger, right? Like,
so the Wahlberg brothers own a burger franchise called Wahlburgers. And in the Midwest, we had a...
that is awful. That's an awful name, but go ahead.
The burgers are...
It doesn't matter if people buy them.
I know. So they have one in the Mall of America, which is my hometown, same city as where I was born and raised. I went there last time when's the last time I walked into a mall, but 2018 or something maybe. Not great. They partnered with a grocery store called Hy-Vee, which is based out of Iowa. It's all over the Midwest. And that was a very successful model for them.
That's an awful name for a restaurant. That is like a slang term from the 80s for not a great thing. But anyway, go ahead.
Hy-Vee or Wahlburgers?
No, Hy-Vee. I'm just saying. Horrible name for a grocery store, but go ahead.
Yeah, it is. But so the future of grocery retail seems to be innovative, right? It's prepared foods, not like when I used to walk into like when I was in college or high school, my buddies and I would walk into the grocery store. Yeah, like there's the deli potato salad, but
but you grow where you die, right? The deli counter was their only real, right? And that's where you always found this supermarket food, fried burritos, potato salad, whatever, was over at their deli counter, right? You know what I mean? And it was probably high marked up food, right, that they could make a profit off of and keep warm all day. But this is a way, like you just said, you're either growing or you're dying. So a company like Kroger, which, look, supermarkets have had it rough for a while. Right? With it's more competition, they can't really go up on prices a whole lot every other week like a lot of other places can do because people still want to spend 39 cents a pound on bananas. If you go to 49 cents, they throw a crazy, fit. So they've had a hard run at it.
When it comes to restaurant infrastructure, there's tons of regulation. You have a commercial kitchen, there's tons of regulation. And if you are a Kroger, you're a whatever, you already have the infrastructure there, right?
Yep. I'm sure they're very similar guidelines, right?
And you
of how things are handled.
Exactly. And you have vertical integration because you're already going to the suppliers that sell food. And maybe you're correct, maybe you're not. I'm just spitballing here. But usually food that's sold as a to grocery versus food that's sold prepared, different suppliers, right? But I'm sure they already have those suppliers, right?
I'm sure.
Yeah, because they white label a bunch of stuff with Kroger's brand, whatever that is. I don't know what it is. Right. So I'm just saying that they have the vertical integration. They have the distribution. They already have the regulatory part completed because they have prepared foods, which means they have to have an infrastructure monitor the quality of that. Why wouldn't they do this? Right?
When you put it in that light, sometimes in business you look at something and go, "Why didn't this happen a long time ago?" Like, this seems like to me, on this side of this happening, why wasn't there a grocery store attached to every, or why wasn't there a restaurant attached to every grocery store in America? Like, I don't, like, why? Why? And even in strip centers where you say, okay, there's a Mexican food restaurant in the same strip center as Kroger, they're ordering their food from someone else. Why aren't they ordering it from Kroger?
Right.
What? Like,
well, and because where I used to live, Minnesota, there's one. That's it. It's called Super Value, and they're basically the distributor for most all of grocery in the Midwest, and they also do a lot of restaurants. So it's like, well,
yeah, it would not surprise me if this is a trend that catches on, and you see more and more, not just Kroger's, but in general, more grocery stores taking on these kind of relationships.
Right.
Or developing their own, instead of developing a relationship with a ghost kitchen, just creating it themselves. An HEB brand would be something that would do something like that. Like, we're going to remodel our stores and put in a restaurant.
No, if you go to the HEB in Mueller, which is kind of the north of downtown Austin, it's hipstery. It's gross, but it's hipstery. That HEB is always popping. They got live music outside, which gives me a migraine. It's the worst. But they have all sorts of food, different, they have, because again, the vertical integration here of, hey, we already have the stuff here, right? And the opportunity to sell the stuff to people, because you're going to buy it prepared and then go, hey, I like this bun. Where do you guys have this bun? I like these, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I bought a brisket sandwich at that place before. I was like, these buns are good. I bought them. I bought a pack of them. So they made money on me buying it prepared, and then they made money on me. It's the same reason they give samples, right?
Right,
so
exactly.
I think that, as the market continues to change, I think more and more people are going to go, more and more industry is going to go, we should collude rather than compete. Why would we compete with each other? Why would we have a restaurant here and a thing here when we can just collude, right? And we can say, hey, let us have the space in your whatever, right? I know Walmart's relationship with the various restaurants they've had in there has not been great. McDonald's is in some of them, and they're leaving. Same with Subway. And I think it would be interesting to see if a company like Walmart, with its massive reach, they're starting a bank, is something that we've covered here on the show before. Wouldn't it be interesting if Walmart said, yeah, you guys can put a kitchen in our facilities,
I think the partnerships with like Walmart and McDonald's, and I think it's Walmart and Burger King one year or whatever, I think the problem with those partnerships is it was doomed from the start because it was never a real McDonald's. It was always a limited menu. It was a small area. It was never well kept. Right? I never walked into a Walmart that had a McDonald's and thought, oh my God, that's a clean McDonald's. Because
I never walked into a Walmart that had a McDonald's because I have too much net worth.
You know what I'm saying, right?
I know.
I think the partnerships were doomed from the get because people weren't happy with the product because the product wasn't what they expected, right?
I'm just saying, I've always lived in ritzy parts of towns where the Walmarts have Subways in them because of, white women on diets. But
hey, one of my first real jobs was at a Kmart that had a Little Caesars in it before they left Texas the first time and then came back. Right. That was back when remember the Bigfoot, the big square pepper. You don't remember the Bigfoot? Like, it was a giant rectangular pizza.
Oh, I remember now.
And then they would, anyway. Point is, it was good. That's all I'm saying.
Well, now we know why you're the big man and I'm the medium person. You're the big man and I'm the medium male. In Texas, I am a medium. So,
it's medium.
Yeah. So I just, again, they listened to the market. They looked at the market just like our last story and said, "Hey, this is going to be a thing. Why wouldn't we participate? Why wouldn't we be the leader in delivery only grocery, delivery only prepared foods? Why wouldn't we have a ghost kitchen? It's a genius." So hey,
and with the partnership, that what risk? Yeah. With the partnership, I guarantee the partnership is probably some square footage that they could probably do without anyway, because we talked about, again, on a previous podcast, about how grocery stores are going to look very different in the next decade. They're going to have more, if they keep the same square footage they have now, they're going to have to use it differently. So why not block off? They've got the square footage to lose.
Right.
Is what we're saying. Because the warehouse model in grocery stores is coming.
Dead. Yeah, I mean, no, like, I think the big box grocery store is dead. I think it's going to go smaller. I think that's the only way they survive.
Well, we talked about it, but they've got these big stores, right? We talked about it, where inside grocery stores in the next decade are going to look more like Costco than they do right now.
Right.
Big boxes on shelves, because 90% of the people that are shopping in aren't shopping in. They're personal shoppers like they are now when you order H-E-B curbside. So,
okay, I'm going to make so I think when it comes to people going into a store, I think most groceries, like people who actually walk into a physical, it's going to look like an Aldi. We don't really have Aldi in Central Texas, like a Trader Joe's. But I think, like, that's the future of people, what I would call actual retailing.
Yeah.
Grocery. And after that, you're right. It's going to be not in H-E-B. There's 2 or 3 in Park that I can think of, right?
Right.
4. Dude. It's going to be 2. And you're going to just pull up to one of them and some, 14-year-old with pimples is like, "I'm sorry, we didn't get the right crackers." That's
what happens to me now. That's how I shop. I can't tell you the last time I went inside. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, but that's all, just tip of the hat to people for being smart.
Yeah, no, good on them. Absolutely good on them. I hope it works out for them.
So do I, and I don't know. I mean, maybe we see them acquire some of the smaller chains and just, roll it up as a roll-up strategy, because they'll have this infrastructure that they can start deploying into these chains. It's a chains that they buy that where Kroger's aren't. But I'm trying to think, like, I've been to Arizona. I know they got Kroger there. Michigan's got Kroger. Every state I've ever been to or visited has a Kroger. So I'm just...
Yeah. No, I think at the very least in the Midwest, right? I mean, they're big. So I think you're going to see a lot of your grocery chains at least watch it, right? Which is what businesses do. They watch each other and then they copy each other things that work. So
when I lived in Minnesota, the big grocery chain there was Cub, C-U-B. Mm-hmm. So when I moved to Texas, and they said, and they got the same colors, both red. I moved to Austin, and they're like, yeah, go down to because when I was moving into the apartment, when I first signed the lease, like, I just flew down here and just picked the place, and they're like, yeah, we need a cashier's check. Like, well, you got onto the H-E-B. Like, the what now? Who's a what?
The what now?
And they're like, the grocery store. So I go over there. I'm like, H-E-B, C-U-B. This is just like what I just came from here. I could see them buying a Cub, right? Because that's obviously just the one I had personal experience with. That is one chain that they could acquire when they're not in that market anymore, right? They could bring a model like this.